Hello there, my name is Oranged Oranges. You may know me as Funny Dude, the orange duck who is, well, funny. Or you may not know me at all, which is the more likely answer. Anyways, I was browsing Twitter, as I am unfortunately plagued to do. It's not even a place I particularly enjoy going, but it's a necessary evil, right? When I found this, this was from an account called No Context Toontown, and it's talking about Clash Halloween costumes, right? They thought it looked tacky, they thought it kind of, the textures didn't look professional, whatever, you know. It didn't fit with the art style. This is fine as a critique, but what it almost certainly is not, you know, when you look at it, right? There is no insults, there is no personal grievances being given out, right? So, it was a shock when I went under the replies. You can tell when something has almost as many comments as they do likes, that something has gone horribly wrong. This opinion is not very popular. But here was one of the responses to this particular post. Fairly innocuous, right? Not according to Ugly Corny, no. Apparently it was an insult. An insult to corporate Clash artists, and an insult to content pack creators, right? What the fuck? There is no insults, right? I will bring this up on the screen again in just a moment, but you know, look at these two side by side. Tell me, honestly, I want to hear your opinion on this. Do you think that this post is an insult to anyone? Look at this. It's so dramatic I had to put text up, but look at this. Tell me, hand on heart, openly, I'm willing to be proven wrong. But look at this. Is this insulting? Is this even intended to be an insult? No, there's not intent. In itself, it is a pretty general criticism. The art style is not being adhered to. Admittedly, for corporate Clash, this is not, an issue because their art style has historically been all over the place, but, it is still a fair critique. It is fair to say, for a server that prides themselves on being as professional as possible for an indie studio, that this doesn't look great. Admittedly, it's a Halloween costume, but, the criticism still stands on its own 2 feet. In my opinion, as the post said, I do suppose they don't look great. But these are not insults. This is not an insult. No one is being insulted here. And in fact, I don't even understand what the point is about content pack creators, being insulted by this. Because it is just a truth. 90% of content pack creators are not adhering to the art styles of the server they're, making the pack for. It's not a criticism, it's just a fact. You can hardly say Toontown at Dusk is exactly faithful to how TTR would texture their game. I've even got the red arrow out, the red clickbait arrow that's going to kind of go over all of this. And you tell me, I want to see if I am in the minority here. At least in that sphere, it appeared that I was. But still, does this look like an insult to you? I could see it as being a bit harshly worded, as of course the post creator said, but I think this sets a pretty bad precedent, because this is clearly not an insult. Maybe I just have thicker skin than the average Toontown player, which that sounds narcissistic. That's because it is. It's a very narcissistic thing to say, but still, come on, is this really an insult? it's not offensive. It's not really like a direct attack on anyone. It's just a personal opinion on art style. And the owner of this account is themselves an artist. They have created art and they play Toontown. They are in a good position to critique art, just as their art would be critiqued. Do you not see how weird this is? That there are 3 parties involved here. All of them are artists. And yet for some reason it's seemingly the conversation is about directing critique to one server. Like Corporate Clash were more than happy enough to release this. This means they're proud of it, so I hardly doubt a post with 9 hearts on Twitter is, going to, upset them. They clearly were happy with this, and they clearly thought it was good enough to release into the world. This is I think this is what this whole message feels like to me. It feels like crying over spilt milk. Except, at least the concern of spilt milk is that it'll stink up if you don't clean it in time. Here, there's just nothing. It's a very lukewarm statement in the grand scheme of things. You could definitely say harsher things and still have them be valid critiques. I just don't understand really what the problem is here. I'm concerned that this could lead to a precedent where if you have a personal favorite server, in this instance Corporate Clash, that you just protect what they do. You feed it into a sort of echo chamber, and that their things, what they're saying is not like bad content, even if it is bad content. I think this is concerning. I've seen this with other servers as well, most notably TTR, where I think a lot of their changes are overly worshipped to an unrealistic standard. But, I'm rambling now, but is this really an insult? I really wanna gauge what the opinion is here, because to me, it seems fairly reasonable. I've heard far more negative critiques of Clash and TTR and other servers. So, what do you think? Is this really an insult? Is anyone being harmed here? Let me know.